everyone, welcome back to the My Favorite Things YouTube channel. I'm Karolyn and I'm dropping in today to share a process video for a couple of cards that I created using the Fishbowl Die-namics and the Your Fin-tastic stamp set. I thought it'd be fun to show you two different ways to make it look like there's water in the fishbowl. The first card uses some gooey bath gel that I got at the dollar store, and the second one uses alcohol inks on some heavy Yupo. For my first card, since I'm actually using liquid, I pulled out my We Are Memory Keepers fuse tool, and I created a custom-shaped shaker pocket using the inside of the fishbowl die. The key to using the fuse for something like this is to stay slow and steady. I'm just using a scrapbook page that I had on hand to make my pocket. I'll be honest, this was actually my first time using this tool, even though I've had it for years. And now that I've used it, I'm excited to try out other ideas for it. And another confession? I wasn't sure that this would work with liquids, but it totally did. Again, I slowly rolled the fuse tool along the outside edge of the die, and I left a small opening at the top to add my bath gel. And just to make sure I wouldn't have any leaks, I fused the outside edges of my pocket using the straight edge ruler that comes with the fuse. Honestly, I don't think this was necessary because the gel never leaked, but I did it just to make sure. And again, the key to making sure everything is sealed is to stay slow and steady with the roller. I've actually sped up the camera in the interest of time, but in real time, I was moving the fuse tool at a snail's pace. We'd be here all day if I showed you this portion in real time. Once I was done fusing the pocket together, I used my scissors to trim away the excess plastic so that it'll fit onto an A2 horizontal card panel. The jar that the bath gel came in wasn't very easy to work with in terms of getting the gel inside the pocket, so I put some into a small squeeze bottle that I had on hand. And I found that less is more when it comes to filling the pocket with liquid. I started out by squirting a small amount into the pocket, and I'm using my fingers to distribute the gel into the pouch. Once I had it distributed, I added a little bit more gel, and again used my fingers to distribute it evenly throughout the pocket, and pushing it away from the small opening at the top. And now that I have the perfect amount of gel inside the pocket, I'll seal up the opening using the top of the die as a guide, and I'll add another layer of sealing just for good measure. In the interest of time, I did some ink blending off camera. One panel using Summer Splash and Blueberry dye inks that I'll use to cut out the inside of the fishbowl. Another panel using Razzleberry and Lemon Drop to die cut the parts to the fish, and another panel using Limelight and Gumdrop Green for the seagrass. I also die cut the fishbowl from smooth white cardstock using the outside and inside dies from the Fishbowl Die-namics. I'm positioning the die cut on top of a snowcone panel, and I'll temporarily adhere it in place with some washi tape. Then I'll place the inside of the fishbowl die inside the die cut, and I'll trace the inside edge of the die onto the snowcone panel. Once I remove the fishbowl die cut, the pencil marks will help me to know where to position the inside of the fishbowl die. I'll secure it in place with some washi tape and die cut it off camera. Next, I'll adhere the fishbowl die cut to the snowcone panel using tape runner and liquid glue pen adhesive. The benefits of these two adhesives is that they give me a chance to wiggle the die cut into place before it's completely stuck to the panel. I'll use the inside edge of the two apertures to center the die cut and make sure it's positioned perfectly. Next, I'll score a 5.5 inch by 8.5 inch smooth white card base at 4 1/4 inches. I'll fold it in half and use my Teflon bone folder to perfect the crease. Now I want to assemble my fishbowl. I previously die cut the parts of the fish and seagrass from the ink blended panels, and I also die cut the sand from Kraft cardstock. I'll adhere the sand and the seagrass with my glue pen, making sure to tuck the bottom ends of the seagrass behind the sand. Then I'll adhere the pieces of the fish together, again using my glue pen, and I'll adhere the assembled fish to the panel using thin 3D foam squares. I love the idea that you can really express your creativity by customizing the fish and the contents of the fishbowl. And this fishbowl is much more low maintenance than a real live fishbowl. Bonus! And as a final detail, I used a black gel pen to darken the eyes of the fish. Before I assemble anything else, I need to stamp my sentiment, so I picked one from the Your Fin-tastic stamp set. I always need birthday cards for my stash, so I chose the Happy Birthday Fishes sentiment. I'm stamping it onto the top of the fishbowl using black licorice hybrid ink. I've placed the snow cone panel onto the card base, and I'm marking the outside corners and the inside of the fishbowl with my pencil so that I can easily reposition the front panel later. I'll apply a layer of tape runner adhesive to the back of the assembled fishbowl, and I'll adhere it to the card base using the pencil marks to position it. I've added some 1/4 inch double-sided tape to the back of the snow cone panel around the outside edge of the aperture, and I'm using my tweezers to remove the tape runner. I've trimmed a 5" by 3 3/4 inch piece of acetate, and I'll adhere that to the back of the snow cone panel. Then I'll add another layer of 1/4 inch double-sided tape to the acetate, and I'll remove the liner paper and position and secure the gel pocket that we made earlier. Positioning the gel pocket is super easy since the fused lines provide me with a guide. I added the acetate to the front of the card as another layer of protection from leaks. And now I can adhere the assembled front panel to the card base using a double layer of foam squares. I love that the gel moves around to create some realistic bubbles, but I think next time I might just try using regular water and some glycerin to see if I can get some more realistic movement of the liquid inside. All in all, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I wanted to give you another option of how to create the look of water inside the fishbowl. My initial idea was to add alcohol inks to acetate, but as I layered the inks onto the acetate, the transparency went away so that you couldn't see the inside of the fishbowl. So I decided to add alcohol inks to some heavyweight Yupo paper. I added drops of a light and medium blue ink to an ink blending tool, and I swiped it across the Yupo to smear the colors together. Then I added the same medium and a darker blue color to another ink blending tool, and I swiped those over the top of the previously smeared colors to get a good blend of variegated color. What I love about working with alcohol inks is that you can keep playing with the colors until you have them blended together just the way you like them. And they clean up super easy with an alcohol wipe. I die cut the inside of the fishbowl from the Yupo panel, and I'm adhering it to the card base just as we did with the other card. And as with the other card, I added a layer of acetate to the back of the snow cone panel to make the fishbowl look a little bit more realistic. I assembled the rest of the card just as I did with the gel card. In hindsight, I wish I'd turned this one into a shaker card by adding some sequins and mylar pieces. That would have given it a bit more pizzazz, but I love that the Fishbowl Dynamics have so many opportunities to creatively bring it to life. And that, my friends, will do it for me today. I sure hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll bring your own fishbowl to life in a fun and unexpected way. Be sure and subscribe to the MFT YouTube channel so that you don't miss any of the creative fun that we bring to you on a regular basis. Thanks for watching and have a great day.